Hello, my friends. I want to ask you something. Have you ever felt that phone ring, glanced at the screen, and just let it go to voicemail? Or maybe you've heard that knock at the door and found yourself standing perfectly still, holding your breath, just hoping they'll think you're not home and go away. On the surface, these small acts seem like nothing. But I know that for many of us, a quiet worry can creep in. You might hear a voice in the back of your head, a concerned child or a friend who says you're withdrawing or becoming difficult. And here's the nightmare that no one talks about. This fear of being misunderstood, of being seen as a burden, can silently build walls, leading to the very isolation we were trying to avoid in the first place. But as a doctor who has spent a career sitting with people in their golden years, I am here to tell you something that might sound shocking. That growing desire to be alone is not a sign that you are breaking down. In fact, it is often a sign of profound wisdom, a quiet evolution of the soul. I'm not just speaking from textbooks. I'm thinking of a patient of mine, John, a retired schoolteacher. His children brought him to my office, genuinely worried he was falling into a deep depression because he kept turning down family gatherings. But when I sat and truly listened to John, I discovered something else entirely. A beautiful, powerful truth his family simply couldn't see yet. In today's video, we are going to walk through the 6 deep psychological reasons for this change. We won't just understand why it happens. We will learn to embrace it as a healthy, natural part of life. This is your guide to finding peace with this new chapter. And please, be sure to stay with me until the very end. The 6th and final reason we'll discuss is the most important one. It's about how we define the time we have left, and understanding it can truly change the way you live your remaining years. I'm Dr. Evans. What I'm sharing today comes from thousands of conversations in my practice, not just books. It's all based on recognized psychology and real-world experience. Before we dive in, I truly want to know how many of us share this. If what I've just described feels familiar, please, just take a moment and comment a simple yes below. It shows me you understand, and more importantly, it shows others in our community that they are not alone. Okay, let's begin. Alright, let's get started. We're going to explore these changes together, step by step. Reason number 1. Your tolerance for nonsense drops to near zero. The first major shift, and one I hear about almost daily in my practice, is this. You find you simply have no more patience for meaningless conversation. None. It's not that you've become unkind. It's that things like pointless gossip, bragging, or superficial small talk now feel physically draining to you. You might find yourself at a gathering, listening to someone go on, and you feel your energy just leaking out of you, like air from a slow puncture in a tire. Now, from a medical and psychological standpoint, this isn't a flaw. In fact, it's a sign of a highly optimized brain. Think about it. For 6, 7, or even 8 decades, your mind has been a processing powerhouse. It has sorted through countless conversations, interactions, and pieces of information. It has learned, over a lifetime, to distinguish between what is valuable and what is simply emotional noise. What you're experiencing is your brain's incredible efficiency. It's saying, I know what matters now, and this isn't it. The core reason this becomes so pronounced as we age is directly tied to our most precious, non-renewable resource, our energy. When you were younger, you could afford to spend energy on things that didn't really nourish you. You could stay at a party for hours, entertained by trivial chatter. But now, your body and mind understand that your energy reserves are finite. They are valuable. You no longer want to waste a single ounce of it on drama that doesn't concern you or on conversations that go nowhere. This is the root of that feeling of exhaustion. If you've ever come home from what should have been a simple family dinner feeling like you've just run a marathon, this is why. It wasn't the physical activity. It was the mental effort of filtering through all that emotional static. I think of a long-time patient of mine, a wonderful gentleman. Let's call him Bill. For years, he'd go to every Thanksgiving dinner and get cornered by a relative who would talk, non-stop, for an hour about his new car or his golf swing, never once asking Bill a single question. For years, Bill would just nod and smile politely. But last year, he did something different. After 10 minutes, he simply said, "Excuse me, I'm going to get a glass of water," and he walked away. He told me later it felt like taking off a heavy coat he didn't even realize he was wearing. He wasn't being rude. He was preserving his own well-being. So, what is the action you need to take here? It is this: you must give yourself permission. Permission to politely excuse yourself from a draining conversation. Permission to remain quiet when you have nothing meaningful to add. Permission to leave an event when you feel your internal battery is running low. You have earned this right. So please, stop feeling guilty for prioritizing your peace. It's not antisocial. It's an act of profound self-care, and one of the healthiest choices you can make for your mind and body. Reason number 2. Your priorities in life experience a fundamental shift. The second reason we see this change is just as powerful. It's the simple fact that what you value, what you are chasing in life, has completely changed. You are no longer running the same race. When you were younger, a full social calendar might have felt like a sign of success. Being popular, being invited to everything, being the center of attention. These things might have been important. You were seeking validation from the outside world. But now, you are no longer interested in winning popularity contests. You are chasing peace. From a psychological perspective, this is a classic sign of moving toward what we call self-actualization. It's a shift from an external locus of control, where your happiness depends on others' opinions and actions, to an internal one, where your contentment comes from within. You are no longer asking, "What do they want from me?" Instead, you are asking, "What do I need for my own peace of mind?" You begin to crave meaningful connections over numerous acquaintances. You'd rather have one deep, heartfelt conversation with a trusted friend than attend a noisy party with 50 people you barely know. The core reason this shift happens with age is wisdom born from experience. After decades of life, you have seen it all. You've seen friendships based on convenience fall apart. You've seen the emptiness of chasing status. You've learned the hard way that true happiness doesn't come from a crowded room. It comes from those quiet, simple moments. A peaceful morning with a cup of coffee. An afternoon spent in your garden. The comfortable silence with a loved one where no words are needed. These are the things that now feel rich and fulfilling. This is why you might find yourself turning down an invitation to a loud restaurant, not because you're tired, but because the thought of spending an afternoon tending to your roses sounds infinitely more joyful. That's not a sign of aging in a negative way. It's a sign of your soul finally knowing what it truly wants. I have a patient, Carol, a lovely woman who, in her 50s and 60s, was the president of 3 different social clubs. Her calendar was always packed. She came to see me a few years after she retired, and she looked more serene than I had ever seen her. I asked her what she was up to, expecting to hear about a new club. She smiled and said, "Doctor, my biggest joy these days is my window seat, a good book, and a pot of tea. My calendar is empty, and my heart is full." She told me, with tears of joy in her eyes, "I'm not lonely. For the first time in my life, I am free." So the solution here is to actively embrace this newfound freedom. I want you to consciously treasure these simple pleasures. Perhaps even take a moment to write down a list of 5 things that bring you genuine, quiet joy. Is it listening to the birds? Doing a crossword puzzle? A slow walk around the block? Make these things the new appointments in your calendar. I urge you, begin to actively pursue peace, rather than simply letting your life be filled with busyness. If this idea of chasing peace instead of popularity resonates with you, I'd love for you to just comment the word peace below. It's a powerful declaration for yourself and for others. Reason number 3, the quiet weight of grief and loss. Now, we must talk about a reason that is more tender, more vulnerable, but absolutely essential to understand. As we get older, our social worlds often shrink not by choice, but by circumstance. We carry the heavy, invisible weight of grief. Over the decades, you have said goodbye to so many people. Friends have moved across the country to be closer to their grandchildren. Beloved family members and spouses have passed on. Cherished relationships have naturally faded as life took people in different directions. Each loss is like a small stone being removed from the foundation of your social life. From a neurological standpoint, grief is an immense tax on your system. It consumes a tremendous amount of mental and emotional energy. The brain processes profound loss as a form of trauma, and it can take years for our neural pathways to adapt. This process can make the very idea of forming new, deep connections feel exhausting and even frightening. It's not that you don't want to meet new people. It's that your heart and mind are still busy processing the goodbyes. The reason this becomes so central to our social lives as we age is the sheer accumulation of these losses. Each one leaves a scar, a memory, a space in our hearts that can't be filled. For many, there comes a point when protecting the remaining precious connections feels far more important than venturing out to build new ones. You start to feel safest in the company of the one or two people who have known you forever, the ones who have weathered the same storms alongside you. There's a comfort in that shared history that can't be replicated. It feels safe. Feels like home. You're not closing yourself off from the world. You are retreating to the safety of your emotional sanctuary. I will never forget a conversation with a patient who had lost his wife of over 50 years. His children were worried because he politely declined all their invitations to social events. When I spoke with him, he explained it so beautifully. He said, "Doctor, my heart is not empty. It's full of her. I don't want to go out and fill that space with noise. I want to sit with it. I want to honor it." He wasn't giving up on life. He was actively engaged in the sacred act of honoring a great love. He was choosing quality, the quality of his memories and his few remaining deep connections, over the quantity of new interactions. The path forward here is one of gentleness and self-compassion. I want you to give yourself grace. Focus on nurturing the high-quality relationships you already have. That one friend you can call anytime, your children, your grandchildren. These are your anchors. Do not let anyone or any societal pressure make you feel like you have to be out there, rebuilding a social network. The most healing action you can take is to allow yourself to be where you are, to honor your losses, and to find comfort in the love that still surrounds you, no matter how small that circle may seem. Reason number 4, a deeper kind of social fatigue. The fourth reason is something I call deep social fatigue. This isn't the kind of tiredness that a good night's sleep can fix. This is a profound psychological weariness, built up over a lifetime of social labor. Think of everything you've done for decades. Managing different personalities at work and in your family, navigating complex group dynamics, playing the peacemaker, mediating arguments, accommodating others' needs, planning events, and always entertaining. 4 years, you were the glue holding things together. That work is exhausting. Biologically, our ability to recover from stress and social interaction can be a form of stress, diminished as we age. Our nervous systems don't bounce back as quickly. Think of it like a battery. When you were 30, your social battery might have been huge, and it recharged overnight. Now, at 70 or 80, the battery is smaller, and it can take 2 or 3 days to recharge after just a few hours of intense social activity. Your body and your mind are sending you a very clear, very logical signal. I need more time to recover. I need rest. This is the core reason why an event you used to look forward to now feels like a chore. That 1-hour lunch with a friend who talks non-stop can leave you feeling completely depleted for the rest of the afternoon. A noisy family dinner, with multiple conversations happening at once, the television blaring in the background. It can feel like you're trying to run a mental marathon. You come home not feeling energized, but feeling utterly drained, your head buzzing. This is your nervous system telling you that it has been overstimulated. It's a physical and emotional reality. You're not being antisocial. Your body is simply telling you its limits. This is exactly why you find yourself starting to say no more often. You might get an invitation to a party and your first thought isn't, who will be there? But, how much energy will this cost me? You're not declining because you don't care about the people. You're declining because you are finally starting to care about yourself and your own well-being. You are choosing rest over obligation. You are choosing calm over chaos. The most practical thing you can do is to learn the art of the graceful no. You don't need a long, complicated excuse. A simple, honest response is always best. Thank you so much for thinking of me, but I'm going to need a quiet evening at home. Or, that sounds lovely, but I just don't have the energy for a big crowd tonight. You are setting a boundary. A healthy, necessary boundary. I want you to start thinking of your peace and your energy as something sacred. Something worth protecting. Because it is. and you are the only one who can be its guardian. So please, start saying no without guilt, and see it as the powerful act of self-preservation it truly is. Reason number 5. The powerful clarity of self-awareness. This next reason is perhaps the most beautiful and empowering of all. You begin to avoid certain people and situations more as you age because you finally, truly know yourself. I mean, you really know yourself in a way that was impossible in your younger years. After decades of trial and error, of successes and heartbreaks, you have gathered an enormous amount of data on one very important subject. You. You know precisely what pushes your buttons. You know what lifts your spirits. You know, without a doubt, what your non-negotiable limits are. This isn't just a vague feeling. It's a form of deep emotional intelligence. It's the culmination of a lifetime of learning. This hard-won self-knowledge comes with a powerful protective instinct. You are no longer willing to put yourself in situations that go against your fundamental nature. It's as if you have an internal compass that is finally perfectly calibrated, and it steers you away from things that will throw you off balance. The reason this becomes a dominant force in later life is that you are no longer trying to be someone. You are simply allowing yourself to be. You've spent so much of your life trying to fit in, to please others, to play the roles that were expected of you. The perfect employee, the perfect parent, the perfect spouse. Now, that pressure is gone. You are free to honor your own temperament. So, if you know that surface-level small talk with strangers makes you feel anxious and drained, you simply stop doing it. You don't force it anymore. If you know that conversations with a particular relative always leave you feeling wounded or angry, you lovingly create distance. Not to punish them, but to protect your own hard-won peace. A dear friend of mine, after she turned 75, put it perfectly. She told me, you know, it took me 60 years to figure out who I really was. I am not going to spend the next 20 years putting myself in places and with people where I have to pretend to be someone else. What an incredible statement of strength. That is not withdrawal. That is integrity. It's a quiet, powerful strength that you can only earn through a lifetime of experience. You are no longer guessing what is right for you. You are operating from a place of deep knowing. The most important action here is to trust that inner voice. Trust your gut. If you get an invitation and your immediate visceral reaction is a feeling of dread or exhaustion, listen to that. That is your wisdom speaking to you. Your body and soul are telling you what they need. Don't rationalize it or feel guilty. Don't talk yourself into doing something that feels wrong on a deep level. Honoring that inner knowing is the ultimate act of self-respect. Celebrate this profound self-awareness. It is the reward for a life well lived, a gift you have given to yourself. If you are feeling more in tune with yourself now than ever before, I invite you to share that by commenting the word wisdom below. It's a wonderful affirmation of this beautiful stage of life. Reason number 6. Your time becomes as precious as gold. And now we come to the final, and perhaps most profound, reason for this shift. Your relationship with time itself has changed. When you are 20, a week feels like a long time. An hour is nothing. The future feels infinite, like an endless highway stretching out before you. But as you get older, your perception of time becomes exquisitely sharp. You feel it in your bones. An hour is no longer just an hour. It is a precious, irreplaceable segment of your life. A day is not just a day. It is a gift. Time begins to feel like gold. There's actually a well-researched psychological principle that explains this perfectly. It's called socio-emotional selectivity theory. It simply states that when we perceive our remaining time as limited, our goals shift away from exploration and novelty and toward emotionally meaningful relationships and activities. We stop investing in the future and start investing in the present moment. We instinctively prioritize things that bring us emotional satisfaction right now. This isn't a pessimistic outlook. It's an incredibly wise reprioritization. This is the core reason why you have become so selective. You are now deeply aware that every single interaction comes at a cost. Not a cost in money, but in something far more valuable. Your time and your energy. Imagine you woke up each morning with $100 to spend for the day, and that's all you had. You would be incredibly careful about how you spent each and every dollar, wouldn't you? You wouldn't waste it on trivial things. You would only spend it on what truly mattered. That is exactly how you have begun to view your time and energy. This new awareness changes everything. It's why you might choose to decline a coffee date with a casual acquaintance, not because you dislike them, but because that same hour could be spent on a heartfelt phone call with your grandchild who lives across the country. One is a small expenditure. The other is a priceless emotional investment. You are no longer just spending time. You are investing it. You are looking for the best possible emotional return on that investment. Sometimes, the wisest and most fulfilling investment is to spend that hour alone, in quiet reflection, enjoying your own company. That's not a waste of time. It's a deposit into your own well-being. So the final and most important action is to consciously embrace your new role as the wise investor of your time. Each morning, I encourage you to ask yourself a simple question. With the precious energy and time I have today, where do I want to invest it to bring the most meaning and peace to my life? Let that question guide your yes and your numbers. You have moved beyond simply living a life and have begun to consciously curate it. You are choosing to invest your final precious resources in what truly matters. Your own peace, your deepest connections, and your authentic self. There is no wiser investment than that. So, as we come to a close, let's go back to my patient, John, the retired teacher whose family was so worried about him. After our conversation, John found the courage to sit down with his children. He didn't try to defend himself. He simply explained, in his own quiet way, what he was feeling inside. He told them about the nonsense he could no longer tolerate, and the deep peace he felt just sitting in his favorite armchair, listening to music. And a wonderful thing happened. They listened. Today, John is still a quiet man. He still lets most calls go to voicemail. But his family no longer worries. They don't see a father who is depressed or distant. Instead, they see a man who is at peace with himself. They've learned to value the quality of their time with him, even if it's just sitting together in comfortable silence. They finally understand that his silence isn't a sign of separation. It is a sign of contentment. I hope that through our time together today, you can see the same truth for yourself. This subtle inward shift you may be feeling is not you giving up on life. Not at all. It means you are finally choosing to embrace the very best parts of it. You are not becoming less social. You are becoming more authentically, wonderfully, you. And that, my friend, is a beautiful and precious gift you have given to yourself. As we wrap up, we've explored these 6 profound reasons that can truly transform how we view our golden years. But knowledge is only powerful when we put it into action. So now, I have one important question for you. What is the one commitment you are making to yourself after watching this video? It could be as simple as, I will allow myself to say no without guilt. Or maybe, I will enjoy an afternoon of quiet, just for me, this week. Please, share your personal commitment in the comments below. Reading them inspires others in our community to take that first brave step for themselves. And if you found real value and comfort in our time together, show your support by giving this video a like. It truly helps more people find this message. To ensure you continue on this journey with us and never miss another video full of life-affirming wisdom, hit that subscribe button. It's more than just subscribing. It's joining a community of friends, all dedicated to living our best lives together. Finally, think of one person in your life who might need to hear this message today. A friend, a sibling, maybe even one of your own children, who worries about you. Please, share it with them. You might just give them the gift of understanding. Thank you for spending your valuable time with me today. Stay healthy, stay wise, and I'll see you in the next video.